Some things don't just grow with you. They change shape as you change. They wait for you when life pulls you away, and they always feel familiar when you come back. For me, Pokemon has never just been a game. It's been comfort, a companion, a quiet constant even during the years when I wasn't actively playing. And with Pokemon celebrating its 30th anniversary, I wanted to slow down for a moment, simply to say, thank you. My journey didn't start with a controller. It started with the anime. Watching Ash's journey, episode after episode, watching him lose, win, grow, and then keep going. Pokemon felt alive. A world built on persistence, friendship, and heart. I truly believed in it. I remember honestly wishing that on my 10th birthday, I'd finally receive my first partner Pokemon. And when that day came, nothing happened. I was devastated. So please tell me I wasn't the only one who thought that would actually happen. But Pokemon didn't disappear. It lived in my imagination. I imagined exploring, battling, and forming bonds with creatures that felt real in every way that mattered. Before I even explored a region myself, Pokemon had already taught me how to wonder. And that way of interacting with Pokemon, that imagination, never really left. It just found new ways to exist. The first Pokemon games I remember playing were Ruby and Leaf Green back in elementary school and middle school. What pulled me in wasn't just battles. It was the mystery, the feeling that anything could be waiting just past the next route, that every encounter had a meaning. Playing with friends, playing with my brother. In a way, those games gave shape to the imagination Pokemon had already built in my head. And Pokemon wasn't limited to screens. In Mexico, there were tazos. Collecting them, trading them, playing with them. For whatever reason, they were more fun to collect than actual Pokemon cards. It was a great way to interact with kids anytime I was visiting family in Mexico. No matter the format, Pokemon always found a way to be a part of my world. Eventually, life changed. New consoles, new interests, other responsibilities. For a time, I watched Pokemon from the sidelines, heard about it from friends, sometimes I kept up with the anime, and Pokemon didn't just vanish. It lingered, quietly waiting for me. Pokemon Go overtook the world in 2016. It brought Pokemon back to everyone's lives. Suddenly, it felt like the entire world was playing again. People who hadn't touched Pokemon in years were outside, walking, talking, comparing catches. Parks were full, landmarks mattered again, and strangers became teammates. For a brief moment, it felt like Pokemon reminded people how to be together. At the time, I was doing an internship, and thanks to the game, it allowed my team and I to get closer. I was also planning dates around walking and catching Pokemon with my girlfriend. It was all about the experience, and honestly, some people still say that early Pokemon Go was the most peaceful and active time in modern history, and honestly, I kinda get it. A few more years passed by, and the world had to shut down. Due to COVID-19, there was suddenly more time. During a time when there was so much unknown, I thought it was time to revisit things that once meant everything to me. I went back to the anime, especially as Ash's journey was coming to an end. Watching him say goodbye wasn't sad, it was reflective. After facing so much, after becoming the strongest trainer in the world, Ash was still not finished. He had reached his goal, and instead of stopping, he chose to keep growing. That idea struck with me. Even after achieving something you've worked towards, life continues. You keep going, and you keep becoming. At the same time, Pokemon returned through YouTube, Let's Plays, creators sharing their experiences. It gave me nostalgia and a break from reality during the time we all needed it. And then there was Pokemon Legends Arceus. It didn't feel like a return to the past, it felt like an invitation. The freedom, the experimentation, and the chance to explore Pokemon differently. Even though I didn't finish the game, Legends Arceus became the proper stepping stone back. Not a destination, but a beginning. It showed me that Pokemon was still willing to grow, and maybe so was I. In 2024, I finally traveled to Japan for just over 2 weeks. And of course, we were excited for the food, for the cities, getting lost in Shibuya and Shinjuku, exploring Kyoto and Osaka. But Pokemon was going to be a focus. One of my goals was to visit as many Pokemon centers as possible. We planned our days around them when we could. I mean, not every day you could go to a Pokemon center. We visited Disney Tokyo, Universal, and as many Hello Kitty shops as we could as well. And then when we finally arrived to our first Pokemon center, it was Pokemon Center Tokyo DX. Before stepping into the store, we were greeted by massive murals, the Snorlax statue, and the wall of games and history. It hit me. Overwhelming excitement, pure joy. I was like a kid in a candy store. In the US, spaces like these are rare. Here, Pokemon was celebrated, accepted, and normal. Each Pokemon center after that was its own little adventure. Different layouts, different energy, but the feeling stayed the same. This wasn't just nostalgia. It was a reconnection and validation that Pokemon had never left me. It just grew with me. Back home, Pokemon shifted again. I started collecting the TCG, appreciating the arts, sharing polls, and trading cards. It was slower, more intentional, and it still connected me to the community. Although scalpers made things hard to find, the joy and the camaraderie still remained. Pokemon meets you where you are. Even with limited time, it still finds a way to stay part of your life. In 2025, Pokemon became my content. Opening packs, sharing news, discussing games. It wasn't strategic, it wasn't about metrics, it was just something that made me happy. And happiness was more than enough. It reminded me that Pokemon isn't just a game. It is something to participate in, something to share. That same year, I attended my first ever Pokemon event, the Pokemon World Championship in Anaheim. Walking in was surreal. This wasn't just a tournament. It was a space built around something I've loved my whole life. Everywhere I looked, there were people who understood, who felt the same way I did, who had similar stories like mine. I got to play the Legends CA demo there, and it hit me that this game would feel exactly like what I imagined as a kid. And if you want to see more about my experience at Worlds, I already made a video about it, and I've linked it down below. The anticipation for Legends CAs wasn't like anything I felt in years. I even took PTO to fully dedicate time to it. I went to the midnight release at GameStop, which was 10 p.m. for me.
All right, so we're finally outside of GameStop, and we're an hour and a half away from the pre-release. So just waiting patiently outside to pick up the game.
And I ended up staying up until 3 a.m. playing, something I haven't done in years.
Excuse the lighting, but it is 3 in the morning. I've been playing Legends CA for about 4 hours, a little bit over 4 hours. I've been up for almost 22 hours at this point, so I'm a little bit tired, but I just want to give some first thoughts on the game before I go to sleep. But man, I mean, it's been fun. It's good. I like the change of pace with the battles and everything like that, but the tutorial is long. It is a very long tutorial. I thought that Scarlet and Violet's tutorial was long. I don't know if I was just playing it too slow or what, but it really does hold your hand for a while. But I don't know. First impressions, I do like it. It is fun. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll be back playing this all day tomorrow.
Although the next day was my girlfriend's birthday, so we ended up taking a day trip to a hot spring, which meant that Pokemon had to wait again. But the rest of the weekend, I dove straight back into it. Even weeks later, I still hadn't finished the game. Not because the magic was missing, but because life moves differently now. Legends CA felt like the closest Pokemon has ever come to the world I imagined as a kid. Looking back, Pokemon has been with me through many forms. From watching Ash struggle and grow, to stepping into Pokemon centers in Japan, to standing on the floor of Worlds surrounded by people who share the same love, to staying up until 3 a.m. with Legends CA in my hands. It's all part of the same story, about never stopping your journey. Pokemon taught me that. So as the franchise celebrates its 30th anniversary, I just want to say thank you. And I promise, no matter how busy life gets, no matter what the next chapter holds, I'll keep playing, I'll keep exploring, and I'll keep believing, because Pokemon isn't just part of my past. It is a part of who I am, and it always will be. My journey with Pokemon has been very stop and go, but has your journey been similar to mine? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you made it this far into the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future videos. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.